computer, and then live on Facebook.
You have a speaker's view.
Yeah, speaker's view. So then everybody else put themselves on mute.
Oh, this is weird. It's doing something new, Zeba. Okay, everybody ready?
Hello.
Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It looks like we are live on Facebook, and I'm going to go ahead and admit everybody who has been waiting so patiently. Assalamu alaikum, everyone out in the social media world who is joining. My name is Uzma Jaffrey. I'm co-host of Mommy Well Muslim podcast, and I am on stage with the leadership of the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle. Happy, happy, happy Mother's Day to everybody. And we will be your mother, your mother, your mothering until it comes out of your ears today and our own. I'm going to turn it over to the next leaders who would like to introduce themselves, and then we'll get this kicked off. Thank you so much for your patience.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Zeba Hassan. I'm the other co-host of Mommy Well Muslim podcast. We are so thankful for you guys to share a little bit of your mommying, your Mother's Day today. And we definitely appreciate you being here. I am going to introduce our fellow leadership board. This is Mona, and she is going to introduce herself, and then we're going to kick it to Rima and Afshan.
Thank you, Zeba. Thank you, Uzma. Assalamu alaikum. This is Mona Kafil from Dallas, joining from Dallas, Plano, Texas. And thank you for being here. This is a very special day for all the mothers and mothers-to-be or mother-in-law, however you nurture your community. Thank you for joining us. And I pass that on to Rima.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Rima Kamran. I'm joining you from sunny but very cold Chicago, Illinois. Excited to be joining all of you today. My name is Rima Kamran. I am Executive Director at the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition, as well a non-for-profit consultant for the past decade. Really excited to be here with you all today, and I will pass it on to Afshan.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Afshan Qureshi, and I'm from the Bay Area. I'm very, very passionate about giving circles and philanthropy, and very honored to be here. My background is in tech, and while I'm not a mother, I have a mom who I love, and I'm friends with many mothers, so I'm very excited to be here today.
I think that's everybody, and for everyone else who's joined us, thank you so much for entering. Some of you are current members of the Giving Circle, so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, we would absolutely love to hear from you, as well as the live audiences that are all across Facebook right now. But I'm going to turn it over to Mona first, and then Afshan to talk about, you know, as mothers, as nurturers, as creators of movements, why they're here in this space today and why they're talking on their days off on this very special day for them, why they are here talking about the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle. Mona?
Thank you, Uzma. Yes, of course. And today is a special day for me as well, because both my children who are out of town, they landed yesterday and treated me to dinner. So the whole family is here, which I'm blessed. And, I thank them for being here and treating me very special. Why Giving Circle? Giving Circle, my background is in nonprofit for past many years and almost decades. I realized that, when we are nonprofit is always relying on money. We cannot do unless we have buy-in from people. A lot of times when we receive grants, a lot of grantors even ask us, is your community supporting you? Is your community invested in you? So individual giving has become something very important for any nonprofit. And with time, I have also realized that, more people are investing in human capital. We are so lucky that we were able to build our mosques. We were able to build the buildings. Now is the time where we profit, or we work towards human capital. We work and build our nonprofits. And women are such strong philanthropists that we give. Anytime when you go to a mosque and even ask wildly that, today I haven't had my lunch because I don't have the money, people will pour out cash. But they will say, I don't need a receipt. I don't need to be acknowledged. That is so specific to Muslim women that we give, and we do not want to be acknowledged. So Giving Circle to me is strategic giving. We think and we give, and we create a legacy and we give, and we teach our children how to give, because we are living in a place, we are living in a country, even back home. If we don't teach this to our children, we as a community will fail. And women are so powerful. We are the nurturers, and especially on this specific day, that honoring all the mothers and the matriarchs of all our families and clans, that we ask and we tell people how giving is an important part of our faith and our culture. So that is my driving force on working and being in the leadership of this Giving Circle, that we speak about it and we be strategic about it. Happy to share more, but I'll pass that on to Afshan.
Thank you,
Thank
Mona. Go
you.
ahead, Afshan.
Thank you, Mona, for that beautiful response. And I apologize to everyone. I'm not on video today. I'm feeling pretty under the weather, but I'm still very happy to be here. And it's because of the passion that I have for this giving circle and the passion that I have for what we're building together. And Uzma, your question was, why as mothers or as creators of a movement, we're here and why we care about this. It's because I think that the beautiful thing about this giving circle specifically is that we're doing something that I don't know about others here. I never knew that this kind of thing could be a possibility before, where I can get together with other women in sisterhood and create something that's going to create a lasting impact and a legacy, and inshallah, one that we can pass on to our children or future generations, or even use as a legacy to honor those who have passed, or maybe even our mothers who, inshallah, are with us today, but kind of putting them in a position where they have this very rich opportunity for sadaqah jaariyah, and something that's, gonna make a very big impact in their lives and also later down the line for them. And when I think about, this idea of creating, or even, whether that's a movement or whether that's being a mom and having children, the the thing that really comes to mind for me is always this idea of legacy. All of my friends who have children talk very much about, wanting to raise their kids in a way where they have the most positive impact on the world. And I kind of think of what we're building together here in this giving circle in a similar way. And now we're really thinking about how can we really leave something that's going to be bigger than us. And I think that's what's really, really beautiful about this giving circle and why I'm so excited to be part of it.
Thank you. I'm getting all excited about this all over again. Zeba, do you want to go next?
You know, everybody here has pretty much said everything that I have already thought of. But the one thing that I did want to point out, in addition to having this be Mother's Day, and and I think Mona alluded to this a little bit, but we have to be thankful to our parents' generation for coming here and building the foundation of our community so that we now have this amazing opportunity to start building upon that. And that is planting the seeds of a movement that is bigger than what we are. And how better to do that than the women, right, that are help build the mosque, helped feed the children in the mosque, help teach the children in the mosque, and now we're trying to pay that forward. So how we can do that is by being this collective philanthropic force. And we're going to tell you a little bit about how we're going to do that here today. But part of what made me excited was that I wanted to leave a legacy behind for my children, because now we're able to do that in honor and commemoration of all the people that came before us, that we can start paying this forward. So thank you guys all for joining us here today. And I think Uzma is going to pull up our slideshow, because I know a lot of people have some questions about what's going to be happening, because I know I did. I was like, what the heck is a giving circle? And Uzma's like, those parties, those kiddie parties. And I had never heard of that concept before. And I was like, a kiddie party? Like we're passing out kitties to each other? Like that doesn't make any kind of sense. And she's like, no, this is how it works. And we're taking kind of the seeds of that to kind of keep with that theme that we're talking about, but expanding it even further and making it more about giving versus receiving. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about today. And if you have any questions afterwards, we are happy to answer them for you.
So yeah, before we get to the slideshow, I wanted to talk about what my inspiration was to join here. And it was really because—
My bad, Uzma, sorry
no
about
worries. We're all so excited about this. So
we just want to get started. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Uzma, what is your reason for being here today? And I am so sorry because she kind of pulled me along for the ride. So she is the main force for me to be here. So Uzma, what has brought you here today?
Yeah, no, my inspiration is little bits and pieces of what everybody else on the leadership team said. And it was because I wanted to give effectively, and I wanted to give in a way that the people receiving the funds did not have to keep coming back and ask. And so I was taught that, again, kind of with the theme of Islam, you give with your right hand so that your left doesn't know. And so we were really hush hush about it. My dad always taught me, if you wait for somebody to ask, because they're in need and they need to get their need fulfilled, you've already failed. And that is probably a sin with Allah, because you forced somebody into a lesser position to ask. Why did you do that? You should set it up to where you're automatically giving, kind of like the way our pious predecessors did. And so that was something that was really important to me. And, sadly, every single year during Ramadan, we see that where our nonprofits and our charities and our good causes are having to come back and ask over and over again the same asks. Why don't we have trusts and endowments and legacies and foundations like every other major religion in the United States has set up for their houses of worship, for their religious institutions, for their social institutions based on their faith? Why don't we have the same thing when we have so much money to give? The Muslim community in the United States is particularly affluent, and we don't have to participate in community savings programs like the kiddie parties of yore. And, kiddie parties are what they're called in the Indian subcontinent, but they are called other things in Africa and other parts of the Muslim world. But instead of doing these community savings for our own personal uses, let's spread it out to the community like a drop in the water. Let's ripple out just like we're supposed to as Muslims. So that is my inspiration for being here. And I feel very strongly that I was able to realize what my identity was, what my role on this planet was once I became a mother. And I wanted to channel that power in a particular place. And I thought all this time it was channeling it on the tarbiyah of my kids, the character of my kids. But guess what? That's Allah's job. but this is something that I can do. And so the giving circle is something that as a mother, I feel super empowered to do. I have purchasing power to create change. And I think, I hope, and I know that, you know, we can inspire other people to do the same. So with that, thank you for your patience. I'm going to share my screen and a short little presentation that Zeba put together. Of course, hold on. I don't want to start it on the very first page. So I'm going to go back real quick because I'm at the end of that one. There we go. Now I'm organized. Sorry.
Thank you for multitasking. That's what we do,
Yes, we
right?
multitask as mothers. Exactly. All right. So hopefully you guys can see that. And of course, this is our logo. As you can see, hands planting trees. We're here to plant a movement, and the keyword is legacy, as everybody has said over and over again. So the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle was established this year in partnership with the AMCF, which we'll talk about probably in the Q&A. But basically, for those who still don't understand what a giving circle is, it's a group of individuals that are contributing a set amount of money to a common pool, and then as a group voting on what charity or charities will receive those funds. The charities will apply for grants from the giving circle, and the grant is the pool of money. These charities will be vetted by the giving circle, actually by the AMCF, so you don't have to be scared as a member of the giving circle, like, oh, I don't know how to check for IRS compliance and stuff like that. No, don't worry. We have somebody to do that for us. What we love about the Giving Circle is it's informed decision making. It's not what we call wishing well charity, where we're just throwing money down or just blindly writing checks like, I want to get rid of my obligations so that, you know, I'm purifying my wealth, but I'm not being responsible about who's getting the money. And so I am getting information about these charities. I'm getting their plans. I'm getting information about their programming and such. And sometimes, you know, if they have campaigns to share with me, I could look at those and again, give responsibly. And because I'm doing it with the whole team of other like-minded people, it's more impactful. So instead of my $1,000 one time, there are 100, 200 women also each giving $1,000. So the exponential quality of the Giving Circle is what it's one of its very big strengths. Anybody on leadership, am I missing anything? Did y'all want to chime in before I move to the next slide?
Perfect.
Awesome. So this is a lot of words. Don't be scared. What is the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle? So the particular details about this giving circle is the contribution amount that was decided upon, and that's $420 each, because we wanted to make this accessible to everybody. So whether you're a college student, whether you're a professional, whether you're a retiree, each person should be able to afford this. Should you not be able to do the 420, because I knew back in the day when I was a student, that would have been a lot of money for me, there is a payment plan, $105 4 times, in order to get a vote in the Giving Circle. Now, the American Muslim Communities Foundation, the AMCF we mentioned before, is the financial institution and nonprofit that is holding these funds. Historically, community savings programs involved a woman or two women holding the cash. Well, there isn't any one of us on the leadership team that wants to be responsible for holding your cash. So the AMCF is going to do that, and they're going to vet the charities, make sure that they're IRS compliant, that they filled out all the proper paperwork, that they're not on any kind of watch list that's going to end up getting us all into Guantanamo, because none of us wants to go there. The charities will apply for the grants, as we said before, and then as a group, the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle will decide on the charities that will get it. Again, going back to informed decision making, responsible giving, impactful giving. So we are, oh, this is not updated. We are recruiting for the Giving Circle members until June 30th. So ignore that 5/31, it's June 30th. Charities will apply in July, and then we'll streamline that list by the end of the month. Vote in August for the top 3 charities, and those charities will receive their checks issued by the AMCF in September, inshallah. Anybody, did I miss anything?
Good.
Now, go ahead, Zeba.
The only thing I was going to say is any amount of money is fine to donate, correct?
Yes.
It's just that you need $420 to actually get a vote for where the money is going to be distributed, which charities will get the grants from the Giving Circle.
Right. So, and do know that if you offer or contribute less than the 420, you don't get the vote. And if you do more, you don't get any extra votes, because again, we're trying to maintain equity and a democratic process in this. So we don't want it to be like, certain countries' elections where you just have to be rich to, win office. We don't want to do that here. Tongue in cheek. Next slide. Why should I join the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle? Well, because $420, again, it's pretty accessible. Most of us are giving way more than that annually. This is one way to do it in a sustainable, responsible way and test it out and see, hey, do I like what's going to happen with this money in September? So that $420 includes the 5% administrative fee to AMCF, the holder of the funds, and that's pretty low. If you've ever, made any kind of investments before, that sometimes you're paying a little bit more in admin fees, and that really can't be helped because they've got to cover their overhead as they hold our money, and they're doing a lot of our vetting work. So that takes manpower and woman power, and then they're issuing the checks. This is one way to get rid of our sadaqah for the year, which is really nice, and we all need that, especially during Ramadan. There is an option to put your zakat money towards this if you should so like to do that outside of Ramadan, and there is a place on the application to note that you would like your zakat funds to go here. Now, here's the great part. Not only are we getting the benefits of the hereafter by purifying our wealth through sadaqah and zakat, we also get a tax deduction because we just donated $420 to the AMCF. That happens to be a nonprofit. So you get to pay a little less tax this year. So that's always nice. And then once you make the donation, you just kind of sit tight for the next couple of months as the charities start applying, as they start getting vetted to make sure they're not the T word. And then we get to vote in August, which is awesome. And we will vote for the charities that we want to financially support, 1,000 times 400, because ideally there'll be 1,000 women, inshallah. Mothers can dream. We always dream big. If each of them gives $400 towards these charities, that's going to be a whole lot of money we can do good with. And then, our goal is, of course, to get them funded by September. I think all of that is pretty redundant, so I'll move to the other slide. If you want to find out more, you can go to the amuslimcf.org/women's GC website, and that will take you directly to the landing page of the Women's Giving Circle. You can also DM at MuslimCF, which is AMCF directly, or you can always contact at Momming One Muslim Podcast, because we're talking about this until we're blue in the face. We are working on a couple of articles that are soon to be published, so inshallah, watch out for those. And then what do I do if I'm interested? Well, you can visit amuslimcf.org to get more information. And then the steps to do it are to donate to a giving circle, choose the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle, and then again, click if you want. There's a little box to fill out how much of your contribution, that $400, you want to go to zakat. And then only zakat eligible charities that are voted on in August will get the funds. So that's really nice. Our next ask is to tell 20 friends. 20, because we know you have like 100. You're Muslim. We know your social circles. So tell 20 friends about the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle and encourage them to enroll and contribute by not May 30th, June 30th. We extended it for you guys because we know you're super busy during Ramadan and post-Eid. So again, you can do the 420 all at once, or you can choose to make 4 installments of $105. Remind those friends on June 30th, or actually June 29th, that they need to sign up in case they forgot, because they will forget. Remember, a lot of them are busy moms, and mom brain is real. Also, we want you to go to your favorite charities and tell them, hey, in July, you need to go apply for this pool of funds that we contributed to, because we love you and we want to be able to vote for you to get them. Anyone else on leadership?
So somebody
Right, thank you.
I'm sorry, Afshan, somebody's just asking how many people have joined now. Does anybody have that, the final numbers?
I think Afshan was the most recent to look at it. Afshan?
Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to pull that up. But I also wanted to reiterate that the nonprofits that are going to be considered for funding are the ones that are going to be nominated by the members. So your best chance of being able to get funding as a nonprofit is to encourage your members to join the Giving Circle so that they can get votes, because the entire thought process around the way that we've structured the giving circle is that we want to make sure that it's democratic and that the voices of our members are heard. So the orgs that are going to be encouraged and invited to apply for the funding are going to be the ones that our members have nominated, because we want to make sure, like I said, that the voices of our members are heard. So of course, if you're a nonprofit leader, or if you're part of a specific nonprofit that you are very passionate about or that you love supporting, then this is another reason for you to join the Giving Circle today, inshallah.
I love that. Thank you for clarifying. So I'm just going to repeat it again. Nonprofits, if you're listening or watching, share this video, this presentation with your members, with your regular donors, so that they know that this exists. Because if you're a nonprofit who has a lot of people supporting you, then that's that many more people who can vote for you come August. And that's really, really important. And of course, as Afsha said, the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle members, a lot of us have come with agendas because there are certain nonprofits that we love and that we want to apply and win this money. So we will be nominating these. I know that Zeba and I are coming with guns blazing for the nonprofit that we love, and we'll be mentioning that, nominating them for sure to get this money. And we're going to encourage the donors, the regular donors to that organization, to also join the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle for the same reason. So just repeating what Afshan just said. I'm going to move on to the last slide. I see that we have some participants with raised hands, but I'm unable to multitask. It's one of the skills that I lost once I became a mom, but I will get right back to you in a second. Our last slide, because this is a question that has come up before, are giving circles halal? Absolutely. Community savings programs that have been practiced worldwide are halal because for a long time, these primarily women-led community savings programs were shut out of bank systems, did not have the desire to participate in banks due to lack of trust. Also, because as a lot of them were Muslim, they did not want to participate in any interest-bearing investment. So it was all cash-based. And we know that when we're moving cash, it's halal as long as you're participating in halal stuff. All of the investments that the AMCF is investing any other monies in is always 100% halal. And obviously, because of the vetting of our charities, we know that they're participating in all halal activities and activities that we support and need for our Muslim families. So historically, this fluid cash prevented a lot of ills in society. Here, this fluid cash, which is not really fluid because AMCF is holding it, is going to be used for, again, absolutely vetted resources, charities, and causes. And we're asking them for proven track records and reports on their applications. So we're super excited for this process. So what we like about it is, in the past, those community savings programs were often put to personal uses for personal finances and personal savings, often to buy your designer bag. This time we're using it for good. We are using it to buy designer resources catered to the Muslim American family. Anybody on leadership as I end, or before I stop the share? Actually, I'll stop the share. There we go.
I also wanted to say that we've had 38 folks who have made some type of contribution so far to the Giving Circle. And, you know, that, keep in mind, a ton of folks have actually joined through the method of monthly or quarterly payments. So they've shown that they're committed to the Giving Circle, but they haven't made their full contribution yet towards membership, but that is eventually their goal. We're sitting at about almost $15,000 in our collective pool of funds so far, and we absolutely anticipate that that number will increase, especially because, you know, a ton of people actually haven't made the full dollar contribution yet towards membership, and that is their goal. They're working towards that. So that's already, you know, if you donate even $1 or even, you know, $420 towards that voting membership into this Giving Circle, you're going to get the ajr for, at least as of today, $14,000. I know on my own, that's not something that I would be able to donate in 1 year. And inshallah, one day I might be able to, but I know with this Giving Circle that that's something that inshallah that I will get the ajr and reward for. And that excites me so much. And it excites me that other people that are part of this Giving Circle will have that same benefit.
I love it.
Hey,
Absolutely.
this is
Rima.
Rima. I just wanted to add one of the reasons, and I apologize, I'm not on camera. I am being a mom and running people around this morning. But one of the reasons that we all wanted to be a part of the Giving Circle is also the collective impact. As Afshan just mentioned, giving $1, every dollar counts for non-for-profits, for women-led organizations, as well as organizations, as was mentioned by Zeba, that may not get the regular funding from larger funders. Every dollar counts, but if we can collectively come together and make an impact to help an organization move further, that is something that we should all be working towards, inshallah. I wanted to also point out that we hear about the kiddie parties, but in traditional communities in the Indian subcontinent, the giving circles came out of kiddie parties, because at some points they would come together and put their funds together to help out a woman entrepreneur, or they might help out someone that was specifically lacking, didn't have the resources at that time to start their business, or they, had some unfortunate incident befall their family, etc. So it has been a part of our traditional community giving for decades, and it's always been led by women. So it is inspiring to think about women supporting and leading towards empowering other women as well. Just wanted to give that perspective as well.
Awesome. I thought I just saw a question in the chat about how many members, and I think you answered that question, Afshan. You said 38 members, but voting members is less than that, right? Because
Yeah, because
okay.
folks are still on their payment plans
Okay.
right now.
Oh, that's why. Okay. So everybody on there does intend to do the full. There isn't anybody who wants to just donate 100 and move on out just to kind of test the waters.
I'm unsure about that. I think the AMCF would have better knowledge about that information, but as of now, I'm assuming that folks are either very committed to what we're doing, or, in terms of wanting to donate or wanting to eventually become a member.
Awesome. Do we have any questions on our live, even if you've answered them in the chat for the purpose of the recorded? Would any of you guys like to share on leadership? Zeba, you want to read some of those questions to us?
Well, I know one of the questions that I had when I was coming in, 420 is the minimum that you can donate in order to get a vote towards the charities. But if you wanted and you were so inclined to donate and you were able to donate more, you're 100% welcome and encouraged by me to do so if you can do that. So I definitely appreciate that. And one of the questions that we had received earlier was the mutual funds and whether or not it's halal. And we have found out they do actually go ahead and they put it in the Amana mutual fund, which is of course all halal compliant. So I just wanted to reiterate that.
Awesome.
And I wanted to also add but that's also super exciting, because it means that your money is going to grow until we're able to actually disperse it to the nonprofits and in a halal way. So that $420, or even if you make a lesser contribution just for the sake of, supporting the cause, that $100 that you might contribute might become a little bit more than that through this investing structure that American Muslim Community Foundation has. And I think that's also really beautiful, because where else is this possible? There's not any other kind of giving structure that I'm part of, or giving organization that I contribute to, that will do that with my money. So I think it's very special.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Amana Mutual Fund is one of the first halal mutual funds. Basically, a group of stocks that is invested in, and each of the stocks is all halal, so they're not investing in like drugs, alcohol, pornography, all of those things that as Muslims we are not allowed to benefit financially from. So it's one of the oldest. We've all been familiar with it and participated in it, and it's super legit. So you can look that up separately. There's a comment from Fatima. Thank you, Fatima, in the chat. This giving circle is also a wonderful opportunity to learn about charitable projects from fellow women that we may not be aware of and be inspired by each other's giving. Thank you for that comment. That is so beautiful, because obviously a lot of the people that have been doing the good work in America for decades, for generations, in fact, it's been women-led, guys. Women make change. Why? Because we're moms, and we want our children to inherit a better future than what we even had. And while we lived a very blessed life in this country, alhamdulillah, and for Zeba and myself, at least, being born and raised here and being second-generation American, it has been, you know, the difference between everything, everything and nothing for us. So we want to make sure that we do even better for our children. So thank you, Fatima, for having us look to more women-led causes, and particularly nonprofits and charities that are doing that very, very amazing work. Mona, do you want to read another question off of the live event so that we can have it on for our recording?
Absolutely, if I can find one. But before I read another question, I also want to comment that if there are nonprofit organizations here, and this is one way for you to learn how to do or how to write an application on grant writing. That is an excellent practice, because we have so many smaller nonprofit organizations which do not apply to any mainstream or any other grant foundation. So this actually is going to be maybe your first step, where how you fill out an application, what does an RFP look like. So I think this is actually a very good idea if you are starting or if you have a smaller nonprofit. So I think it's a good practice run for you as well. I think Afsha has already shared the link with, on the Facebook chat. That's what I'm looking at. And I think
there was a question that came in, Uzma, where Khadija Amjad wanted to know if there are multiple cycles of giving each year. And just so folks have this information, we're aiming for one giving cycle per year as of right now, just because we want to be able to build up the reservoir as much as possible before we do a disbursement to nonprofits. Of course, this is also our first year doing this, so it might be that in the future we have such a surplus of funds, inshallah, where we might look into doing more than one cycle per year. But as of now, it's going to be one cycle per year.
Yeah, and as a member of leadership, my dream is that we do have multiple cycles and become a very flexible and fluid, dynamic source of funding for crisis management, because we know that stuff happens outside of natural disasters. There are plenty of crises that happen in our community, sadly, that we should be able to take care of ourselves and not have to write grants to write for grants to mainstream resources, improve our needs. But again, this is our inaugural year, and we are working on trust building, we're working on recruitment, we're working on proving to our Muslim sisters, our mom sisters out there, that this works. This is not crowdfunding where it's a one and done. This is a crowdfunding to keep going forward and to not stop. Now, yes, this year we plan to distribute 100% of the funds in the pool, but inshallah, we hope to create those endowments and foundations as early as next year with the buy-in of our members once they see how successful we are at making change this calendar year, inshallah. There's a good question from the audience here from Shazeen. How are you outreaching to Muslim women to promote this giving circle? Right here, baby. This is one way. You can also catch us on, I think Mona has written an article for American Muslim Today, I believe. There's also Radio Azad. So there's a program that you can hear her on. I'm not really sure how you can get radio shows to show up on your Google search, but Mona can tell you that in a second. Zeba and I have promoted it on Muslim Women in Finance podcast, if you want to take a listen to that. And we just aired our crossover podcast with wealthy Muslim women, because that's what, alhamdulillah, a lot of us are. And by wealth, we don't mean like, gold toilets or anything. We mean you are financially independent women and you are responsible for your own sadaqah and your own zakat, and you don't need a man to do it for you. And you are answerable to Allah for it. So, hey, let's talk to you. So we went on that particular podcast and talked all about the Giving Circle again until we're blue in the face, and you'll hear us more and more doing more until membership closes on June 30th. We will continue these recruiting efforts, these activities online, both on Facebook, on Clubhouse. And Mona, do you want to tell people how they can hear the Radio Azad recording?
Sure. We were also on Clubhouse. That's how we met.
Yes.
So we are trying to do the outreach as much and as many avenues as possible. So through writing, which Uzma just mentioned, through writing is one of them, through our social media. So Clubhouse, this is a Facebook, and podcast and radio. So I think the first thing you need to start doing is Google, and Google, American Muslim Communities Foundation. Underneath that, you'll find all the current and upcoming events. So that's one way. And then the other is we would want you to join the movement, help us outreach. If there are any new ideas that you would like to share with us, we have our weekly meetings. Just join us, and we will welcome any and all ideas right now. This is our first year. We are learning as we are moving along. So I think any fresh idea will always be welcome. Thank you.
And I
Yeah,
do
and
want
I would
go ahead.
also, sorry, Isma, I'd love to jump in here too and just say that, we hope that after if this is your first time learning about what we're doing with this Giving Circle and you feel passionate about this as well, maybe you're not ready to become a member today. Maybe you want to just make a donation. Even if that means that you tell 5 or 10 or 20 of your friends, your family members about this Giving Circle today, you're also contributing pretty largely in helping us make that promotion. And inshallah, also getting the ajr for the funds that come in through your word of mouth. And something that I've been doing personally is reaching out to my direct networks, sending emails to friends who I think that would be passionate about this cause, and wanting to make this lasting legacy and be part of this movement. So I think there's lots of big and small ways that we have been promoting this effort, but of course there's still tons more that we can do, and we're hoping that when you hear about this today, that you will also tell people in your networks, and that's going to be a very big service as well. Excuse me.
Thank you for that, Afsha. And, Zeba and I have been invited to a couple of fireside chats to, small groups of women who kind of want to have intimate conversations, socially distanced, of course, in person, but safe during COVID times outdoors. And they want to hear more about the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle, and they don't want to come on these public spaces, or they're not on social media, but they want more information. So if anybody wants to do that, if we are in your locale, we're happy to come out and do it. Or we could do something virtual like this with your own intimate gatherings of your book clubs or whatever social giving networks you already have, because we know across the country there are Muslim women who are just on a grassroots level, like participating in charitable acts and charitable donations, and maybe they want to learn how to do it better and make more of an impact. Absolutely, set it up with us. You can DM at MuslimCF on Instagram or at Momming While Muslim podcast. I'm going to ask for the other leadership members who are comfortable to, in the chat box, go and on socials to drop your handles. So if you have any of your audience members or your network people that are listening right now, they could reach out directly to you to set up these private fireside chats. And then the other thing I want to leave with, it's Mother's Day. I hope that it is my hope that each of you gets exactly what you want today, whether it's cake, whether it's a day in bed, whether it's time alone to go do your tasbih and finish your Quran, whatever you need to do for you. Inshallah, may Allah give you that and more today. But this is a brilliant idea that my beautiful co-host had, and that was, we're gifting people. We're gifting our own moms, like our personal moms, the moms in our lives. How beautiful would it be to gift a mom a membership, or gift a Muslim sister a membership to the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle? Now, do you love your girlfriends enough to drop $420 on them? maybe not all of them, but a couple of them that care about the same kinds of things you care about, which is charitable, lasting, impactful, responsible giving. So if that's the case, fill out the form in her name and tell her, hey, by the way, in August, you're going to come vote. And this is what you're going to vote for, or decide what you want to come and which charity you want to propose. And I think this is a beautiful gift. Zeba is actually doing this for some of the sisters in her life. And I think what a beautiful way to give voice to a sister who may not have been able to do it because A, she didn't know, or maybe B, it wasn't necessarily in her financial means, but now you gave her some power. And a real Muslim woman, a real woman will elevate another woman, and it's not competitive, it's always collaborative, and that's what we're here to do. I'm going to turn over the mic to Mona of Sharima.
All I'm going to say is thank you so much, Uzma, and the leadership team. We work together, and we would like you to join the movement, and you have an amazing, amazing Mother's Day, rest of the day. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, everybody. Thank you so much for your questions. And if you have any more, just drop them onto the comments on any of the lives where you're reaching them, and we will find them and answer them all. Have a wonderful, blessed Mother's Day. Jazakallah khair, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.